Hey everybody, I'm Tory.
I'm Courtney, and we're your bitch pack friends.
Today we're talking about the TV show that is sweeping the nation, the globe, Baby Reindeer.
Baby
Courtney and
reindeer.
I just binged it this week, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, let's go.
I want to confess, Courtney, I told you, or I strongly encourage you to watch it on Sunday after I watched the first two episodes. And then I feel like it was a little bit of a bait and switch because after the first two episodes, things kind of take a turn. And I watched the first two and I was like, oh, this show is like funny and silly and weird. And then like the last five episodes are just they're very dark. And so
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for it. Because I didn't know what to expect. So I
Yes.
feel like I just need to qualify when I was like, you got to watch this show. It's so funny. And then I was like, I
Yeah.
wonder what she's thinking.
Well, like I definitely enjoyed like the first two episodes, and then like you said, it was like fun and silly, and then after that, it's like you can't say you enjoyed it, but you're intrigued. You want to know what happens, but
Yeah.
it's not fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think on Sunday I had three different people text me and be like, you need to watch this show. It's so good. And I was like, okay,
Hmm.
fine. And and then I got like the Netflix newsletter that was like, this is our number one show right now. And I was like, let's go. But the interesting thing about this show is that so the guy who like wrote and stars in it, it's about his real life. So it's semi autobiographical of this guy telling the story of his own stalker and spoiler alert, sexual assault history. And so it's like this very weird, I feel like this was probably like a very therapeutic experience for him to like get his story out and then have a little bit of commercial success because he is an actor slash comedian.
I did not know that. So at the beginning, it does say this is a true story, but like you never know if they're just saying that to like make it a good show. And then I didn't look it up. So that's like it's the actor, the actual actor. It's his story.
Yeah, the guy that plays
That's
Donnie.
wild. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess supposedly like details have changed, so you're like the real people aren't able to be identified, but like the internet, they're like sleuthing and the internet thinks they've figured out who these people are.
Mhm. So
And
like
they
this all actually happened to him.
Yeah, so he really was the victim of a sexual assault from a TV producer in London, and he really had a stalker at his. I don't know if it was a bar or if he worked at a coffee shop or whatever,
My
um,
God.
but yeah, so they're inspired by true events. And then I read a headline. I didn't really get too far into the details, but I read a headline that the real inspiration for Martha like saw the show and she's pissed and she said it's all fake and not true and that she's gonna kick Netflix's ass.
That sounds nothing like Martha. That can't be right.
So but yeah, but he said he made it so like like the Martha in the show doesn't look like the real Martha, and the guy the guy that plays the producer, he doesn't really look like that, and he wasn't really on that type of show. um but the internet thinks they figured it out, and
Okay.
they want
Did
to
you is it like a well-known writer?
it's nobody I know.
Okay, so no.
It's
If
on
you don't
some
know them,
like
I definitely don't know
it's
them.
on some show that's like popular in Britain that I've never heard of.
Okay. So
So
nobody too important.
um but yeah, I don't know. I had mixed feelings about it because I was in for like a comedy ride and I was like, it's called Baby Reindeer. Like
How
it's
bad can it be?
how it sounds so fun.
Mhm.
And yeah, it got really serious. I think it kind of like had some interesting questions of like I feel like he took a lot of ownership of what he did because he makes a lot of bad decisions. Like if it was
Mhm.
my son, I'd be like, get your head out of your butt and like don't go
What are
back to
you
that guy's
doing?
house. Like
Yeah.
so I feel like he takes a lot of ownership of like the ways that he participated in both of these people abusing him, or I don't know if you want to say
Yes.
abusing, but um yeah, and but then I also read that a lot of people are like accusing him of victim blaming and stuff, and It's like he's
But
just
he
telling his
literally
story.
right. And like saying it's about him, it's actually quite crazy that he can go back and like reenact all this traumatic stuff that he went through.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not acting too much in these scenes. Like it's got to be hard to redo all of that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Um so yeah, so he I think he was an interesting character because he was really complex. Did you like Donnie as a character?
I tried. I liked him at first, but
You
it's
try.
like as time goes on, it's like, okay, he's not right either. Like I would
Mhm.
say my favorite scene in the entire series is where like Martha finally goes to jail
Mhm.
and it's like, all right, cool, done deal. But no, he's got his entire wall covered in like Martha facts. He's got all of her voicemails categorized by like how she was feeling, what she was
Yeah.
saying. And he's just like, that's all he's doing is listening to these voicemails. And I loved his ex girlfriend comes in and he's like, when you break it down like this, you can see really how mad she was when he's the one now who looks batshit crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really well done. And I love how
Yeah.
I think it's the final scene where he finds out like why she calls him baby reindeer
Oh,
and
yeah.
he feel like it's sort of like very bittersweet because he feels so vindicated because he like understands her, but
Hmm.
also like you see what a crazy person he's become. And so it's like on the one hand you feel like the story is resolved, but on the other hand you're like, no, this is a huge
No,
mess.
there's no happy ending.
Yeah. I wonder how long it took him to get to, from sitting in the bar listening to her voicemails to being like, you know what? I feel better. I'm going to write a movie about or a TV show about this.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was cool. Like, after the trial is done, she's in jail. He goes on his computer and it's like the witness testimony, and he deletes the whole thing and he types out the beginning line of the show.
Oh, yeah. You're
Did
right.
you notice
Yeah,
that?
that does
So
happen.
I
I
thought that
forgot.
was cool too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess okay, so the answer is right away. It's like
Immediately,
right away he's like, this is how I need to process this and this is how I'm gonna do it.
I guess. Who
Yeah.
knows how much he wrote? Maybe he just wrote that one sentence for years.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting too how like he starts off by feeling bad for her, and he ends by feeling bad for her. Like there's all these feelings in between there, but it starts and ends pretty much the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Um
What a ride.
I wonder, I don't know. It's such a weird dynamic though too because it's like cuz like if it was the gender roles were reversed, like if it was a man and a woman, that probably wouldn't really be a thing.
Mhm.
Um but I feel like because it's like this, he can like cuz he could always I mean, he is a very tiny man, but he
Yeah.
could always he could always physically defend himself like if something were to happen theoretically.
Kinda.
He
But he
does.
had a point because like the police officer at I don't
Yeah.
know, is it a jail? I don't know where he is. Um, he he said the exact same thing you just said. He's like, if I was a woman and she was a man, like this wouldn't be
Yeah.
happening. And the guy's like, well, physically, you should be able to take care of yourself. And he's like, not if she's got a knife. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe I need to think through that more because I was like, I don't know. I mean, he definitely he did let things go on, but also sometimes I was like, come on, Donnie, like get it together or stop doing that
Hmm.
or whatever. But then there were truly things that like kept going out of his control, like when his bosses sent her that email and
Oh yeah. They kept using it against him.
it just kept coming up where he's like,
Yeah.
they're like, you asked her that, for sexual favors. And he's like, I didn't.
I didn't. That was my friend, I swear. And like, what a stupid excuse. Like, nobody's going to believe that.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, I'm sure that really happened, like, pretty much how it was, because that's such a true to life
Yeah.
thing of like your
Right. Like
friends.
your friends just laughing about it and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it sucks to be you.
Yeah. I also was pissed at him with when she actually did like hit him in the head with the glass.
Hmm.
I was like, well, here we go. This is it. Done deal. Let's go,
Nope.
Donnie. And then he still like let his bosses manipulate him and tell him not to,
Hmm.
tell him not to go to the police, which like I mean, I get it. Like I've worked for some shady people before, but like also he's been dealing with this stalker for years, and this is his like golden ticket out, and he doesn't
Yeah.
take it so he can keep his terrible job.
He's been actually assaulted.
Yeah. Yeah, if anything, he should sue them.
Right. He's trying to like protect these a-holes that have done nothing for him but give him a job.
Yeah. Um, what did you think about his relationship with Terry?
Um, I liked Terry. I thought he probably felt the most like real in himself with Terry and felt like normal love instead of like he felt love from Martha, but not in a healthy way. It was just kind of like
Yeah.
boosting his ego kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Terry, I think, was like a safe person for him, but he screwed that up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was telling too, like it was a good way to show like how isolated he had become and how much he was like living in shame because he like this is the relationship that he actually wants, and
Hmm.
he like won't go for it because he doesn't want to be seen, or like I like the, I mean I don't like it, but I thought it was a good like storytelling device when he takes her to that bar where nobody can see them or recognize them, and he like won't go anywhere else with
Yeah,
her even though she really wants to. And so he's like trying to live this like secret and compartmentalized life because he's not okay with himself.
right. It was a lot of self hatred, which he says in his like when he's supposed to be doing stand up comedy, and instead it turns into this like therapy session.
Yeah. Uh, that's what one of my like pet peeves. I was trying to decide if they did it in this one or not. I think they did it a little bit, but like in movies and TV shows when there's a comedian, like you better be telling jokes if you're on stage as a comedian. Like
Isn't
I
that the
feel like
point?
frequently in like movies and TV the comedian will be like on stage and they're like telling a story instead, or like they're like serving the plot of the movie or the show instead of actually just like telling jokes.
Oh
Um
yeah.
like I don't, you probably don't, did you watch the recent Sex in the City
Mm-mm.
reboot? There's a comedian on that show. Her name's Che, and all she does is just talk about politics. And I'm like, this is
So
not funny.
zero comedy.
You're not being a comedian. You're being like,
You're a politician.
yeah.
Zero
I feel
comedy.
like, yeah, and I like this. I mean, he was a bad comedian, but
But he was
I like
trying
that
to be
he was
funny.
actually like up there telling jokes, and
Yeah.
I think occasionally they like indulged a little bit, like for the sake of the story, but for the most part, he was just up there doing his thing and telling jokes, and um,
Hmm. Doing his
yeah,
best.
yeah, trying his darndest.
Trying his darndest. Nobody thought he was funny.
Yeah, I also like how he was like, you know, he's like so quiet and serious as a character, and then he gets up on stage and is just like, I mean,
Who is this?
I would never go see a comedy show like this.
Right. Well, and it's like he talks about how he just like hates himself and is just this like weak person, but like you have to be super brave to get up there and do this stand-up comedy knowing like people are probably not going to laugh because he
Yeah.
had such a bad track record. Nobody's laughing at him. And he's still getting up there and doing it over and over again. I'm like, he's got strength in him somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a friend that did stand-up comedy for a little bit, and he said it was mostly unpleasant, but then every once in a blue moon you'd have a really good night, and it
Mhm.
would like made everything worth
It seems traumatic.
it.
You could not pay me enough to get up there.
I feel like even people that are like somewhat successful as stand-up comics, they're like, well, anything can happen. Like any night can be a bad night.
That's I feel like yeah, that probably is true. I also so like I had a moment with Donnie thinking about Martha. I was like, I kind of understand how he wanted to hold on to her because she is constantly like boosting his confidence, telling him all these nice things about himself. And I'm like, he has nobody, like nobody's nice to him. But then I thought back to when he was going on all those dates and everybody's like just normal, like being nice and friendly. And it's like he could have had those people being like a normal amount of nice,
Yeah.
but he kept going back to Martha, who was extra.
Yeah. Well,
So it's like,
he kind of poses it like everything was good except for his career until the sexual assault happened, and then like everything fell apart. Like he lost his professional confidence, he lost his personal confidence, he didn't trust himself because he kept putting himself in that situation. And
So like he had Martha handled until the assaults.
yeah, like if he had met Martha before before that happened, I think it would have been fine. I think he just would have
Oh,
handled.
so that didn't happen during Martha, that was before Martha?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that happened when he was with Keely when they were living at her mom's house.
Okay, this makes
And,
more sense now. I
and
probably
then
knew
he
that, but
and then he met Martha after Keely had moved out and broken up with him.
okay, because they like go back and forth between timelines, so
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah, it is kind of confusing how they do that. But
Okay, while I'm here, speaking of my confusion, there's a scene where he has sex with Martha. Is that just his fantasy, or did that actually happen?
I thought that really happened. I had to look it up and double check. That's just that according to the internet, it's just a fantasy.
Okay, so they never like did an obvious spin where it's like he's just thinking about it. It's not actually happening because I thought it actually happened, but then as things went on, I'm like she never brings it up, and that's the
Yeah.
only thing that made me think like it didn't
there,
happen.
there would be no going back from that. She would kill him.
Yeah,
She,
Martha would be talking about that every email.
and I don't think he would like successfully get a restraining order or put her in jail if that had happened.
Yeah, it would be a little harder anyways.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing that made her look the most batshit crazy is that she's typing sent from my iPhone on every email. It just like really puts into perspective how nuts she is. And when she
Yeah.
starts like doing typos in it, so it's like obviously you're typing this.
She's
Oh,
like going so
I
fast.
loved it. Yes, I loved it so much.
Yeah, that was a very funny detail. And that's one of those things too where like I'm sure it happened in real life like that. And so it's like funny. It's like funnier than anything you could think to write. I feel like,
Yes.
you know?
And it's like he was like in the bar she didn't have an iPhone, but she has an iPhone because it says so on these emails, but like no, she's just typing it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I love when he goes to her house and opens that drawer and there's like 10 phones in there and he's like,
Yeah.
"Ah,
Ah,
what am I dealing with?" And
psycho.
none of them are iPhones.
Zero iPhones.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I read online that it was like kind of her like trying to like because when she was a lawyer she probably would have had an iPhone, right? Like,
I would
and
hope so.
so it's her like grasping for this reality that doesn't exist anymore and like trying to pretend like she's still living that life even though
Mhm.
she's like, got this 10, 12-digit smartphone that she
Yep.
or dumb phone that she's sending texts on.
I also loved like her just like talking herself up, being like, I'm this very important lawyer. And she's like, I cannot afford a tea at the bar. She's like, I can't afford a Diet Coke. I'm sorry. It's like,
Yeah.
you just said you're this like very special lawyer.
Yeah. I would love if Baby Reindeer Part 2 is just the same story told from Martha's perspective.
Yes.
Like,
More
this
Martha.
bartender just kept hitting on me and giving me free stuff and then asking
Giving
me to
me
sleep with
eyes.
him. Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if Martha's not crazy?
I'm sure she has I'm sure she has a perspective that is that was
Yes.
not fully shared in this telling.
I feel like it wouldn't be an honest perspective if she were to give us her side.
Oh, no,
Just
absolutely.
going off facts.
It's just from what I know about mental illness sometimes.
Yeah. Something tells me the way she's typing sent from my iPhone.
She's like, my iPhone was in the shop.
Yeah. For years.
Um, yeah, I also liked so he talked about living with Keely and like things just kind of fizzling out over the course of a year. And I was like, ugh, like the first time they like introduced that happening, I was just like, yeah, this guy's kind of a loser. He's like living with his girlfriend's mom and like not doing anything with his life, and finally his girlfriend like up and leaves him. And so like that was my like first impression of him. And then when he like tells the story again, like including that, he's got this relationship with this guy and he's, doing drugs every weekend and getting, taken advantage of and stuff. I was like, oh, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool how he like first tells you it was a bad year where he like fell out of love and kind of became a loser, and then he like tells you again, but like includes the fact that he has this unhealthy relationship with this man. And then
Yeah.
it kind of like like added a layer of color to things so you can like understand what was going
Right.
on, and his backlash, and him like having a lot of promiscuous sex, and like trying to figure out like how to process what happened to him, and how it just made him like a terrible boyfriend and a
Mhm.
terrible worker. And
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that was cool how like you get almost like the outside view where you're like, wow, this guy has nothing going for him. He sucks. And then all of a sudden you feel bad for him.
yeah, yeah. um I liked I feel like his parents were kind of like unsung heroes also in this, because they're
They
like so
were.
sweet and nice. and,
Yes.
and then like when he confesses everything to them, they're like so supportive of him. And
I thought the
um
dad was going to not take that well, but it was the complete opposite of what you thought was going to happen. Because on the phone with Martha, his dad is just like old school, cussing up a storm, telling her to go fuck herself. So I was like, this guy just says what he's thinking. But yeah,
yeah, I like that. And I feel like at the end, like towards the end, when he's like going on a like spends time with them, and he like turns off his phone and they go on a hike or whatever, and it's like it's just very sweet. Like
it
they help him
is.
like find himself again.
Yep. Lovely parents. I'm sure they saved him in some ways.
Yeah, which I'm like, why do you? I don't know. I feel like he's not tortured enough to be a comedian. He's,
It's got to be even darker, more
yeah,
drama.
yeah. I feel like usually people only become comedians when they like, I don't know. What I saw one comedian, like two comedians interviewing each other, and they're like, "So you're a comedian? Which one of your parents left?" Like,
Right? They need the childhood to be traumatic, not the adult life. It has to
yeah,
happen when you're a kid.
yeah.
I think you're
But
right.
I don't know. But he's just hey, maybe he's just a natural performer.
Well, he did great in this, so.
Yeah. I wonder. I feel like when artists do stuff that's like so autobiographical for their first like big success, it's always hit or miss on if they can follow up with something else.
Mhm.
And or like I don't like people, like even musicians, like if they do a sophomore album, like sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, because they basically have their whole life to write their first album. And
Yeah.
so I'm curious what Donnie has up his sleeve
Yeah,
for.
hopefully something good. Well, yeah, because this wasn't really written. It's just his story.
He's just
He didn't even have
yeah,
to come up with the details.
yeah. um yeah, I also do, I like the non I do think that telling a story in a non-linear way is probably really hard. So I thought
Mhm.
it was well constructed in that way.
Yeah, besides me
um
getting a little lost. Okay, so I will say, why did he go back to visit that guy? And the guy offers him a writing job, and he's like, "It won't be the same as it was last time." And Donnie's like, "Okay, I'd love that." Like, what are you doing? And that's like the end.
Do you think he's really gonna give him a job?
No. Did he ever give him a job to begin with?
No.
Not a paid job. I
I'm
feel like Donnie
surprised
was
he
writing
didn't.
for him for free.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just give him like a low level job just to give him a little something to keep him coming back.
Yeah.
Um
Or like when he leaves and he's like hyperventilating out on the sidewalk, I was like, did he record something that this guy can like be convicted finally for raping him? Like I couldn't tell that's what I hoped he was doing at that point.
yeah. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I hated that scene.
I hated it. Why are you there?
The only thing I thought was that maybe it was him like trying to have some control in their relationship,
Like
but
find closure somehow.
yeah, but he like doesn't confront him at all. And
No, he just acts friendly. And the guy's like,
yeah,
sorry. Did the guy ever say sorry? Or is
I
he
don't
like, it won't be like that again?
I think that's all he says. I don't think he
Yeah.
actually says sorry. Um
Because I don't remember any apology.
yeah, that was weird. Um I hope they never see each other again unless it's in court.
Same. Yeah. Take his ass to court.
um, but yeah. So and besides, he's got his own show now. He doesn't need him anymore.
He's fine.
I
Fuck
hope
that
that guy was
guy.
an executive producer on the show or
Oh my god.
something. Right. Yeah, but it makes me the more I learn about Hollywood, the more I'm like, seems like a bad place. Or
I guess it
the film industry, I guess.
I guess it worked out that I'm not a talented actress. I liked the line where he was like, "How can I send Martha to jail but not the guy who raped me?" It's like he's got a
Oh,
point there.
yes. Okay, that was really helpful to me to understand. Like cuz the whole time I'm just like I kind of get where he's coming from, but
Mhm.
also none of it is fully adding up. And so I think when he said that it made it really clear of like
Yeah.
he had this unresolved thing with this guy and that's why he's cuz the Martha thing he could have handled. Like he
Martha's
could have
just
handled.
kind of annoying,
Yeah.
but like he's not afraid of her.
Yeah, like he could change his email, change his phone number. Like
Mhm.
he could call, he could get rid of her if he really wanted to, but he's not. And yeah, that was really helpful to just understand what
Mhm.
was happening in his head.
Yep. I agree.
So,
Fuck that guy.
what do you think? Okay, if you had to speculate about what details were changed in the real Martha versus the TV Martha, what do you think?
I bet she wasn't as funny in real life. Because those first couple episodes, you're like, I kind of like Martha.
Yeah, I'm like, why is Martha a problem? Let's keep her around.
Right. I mean, she was terrifying in like a crazy person way, but not like
Yeah,
threatening.
yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I want to just picture her as is. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like a lot of women start to get a little crazy when they turn early 40s. I'm excited for it to happen to me.
Yeah. You're going to have a Martha face.
I might. Wouldn't put it past me.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe she just looks different or maybe she has a different job or something, but I just feel like
Yeah.
her whole vibe is probably pretty dead on.
Same vibe, different, I don't know, hair.
Different hair.
Mhm. She's
I
actually a
also
blonde.
Yeah,
Everything else is,
I loved when she starts to look really crazy and her hair gets like frazzled and frizzy, and
yeah.
then she has just this line of gray right down
Yup.
her roots.
She needs a touch up.
I'm like, this is legit. Like this
Here we
is
go. I can see this person.
yeah. Um, yeah. So, would you recommend Baby Reindeer to a friend?
Depends on the friend. If this friend likes dark, fucked up stuff, yeah.
Yeah, probably wouldn't recommend it to my mom, but
Yeah. Or anybody who has their own like sexual abuse trauma, no.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Um, but yeah, so funny at the beginning and then very heavy, and
Spooky.
yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to see what's his name, Richard Gadd is the creator. I'm excited to see what he has
I'm gonna call him
next on the
Donnie.
docket. Donnie,
Yeah.
Donnie Dunn.
Donnie Dunn.
Anything else we should talk about, Baby
Do you want to talk
Reindeer?
about do you want to talk about Taylor real quick?
Oh, I would love to. What's Taylor been up
Okay.
to?
I don't know. I haven't really been paying that much attention to her. When does the tour start back up?
Soon, May. Oh, and it's May 1st.
It's May 1st.
Yeah, sometime in May.
Okay. And you think this Friday something will happen? This is the fortnight, right?
Yeah, I think Friday is going to be a fortnight from when she first dropped the album, so I think she's going to give us something.
Okay. I'm excited to see. Are you still listening to the album?
I have been mixing it up a bit, but yes.
Okay. I haven't
Um,
touched it for
oh.
a few days.
I love reading reviews of the album because I feel like this is the most mixed. May 9th, she's going to Paris.
Oh,
So because I feel like this is just like the most it's just like the most mixed reviews I think she's ever gotten that I remember.
yeah.
And I think it's good for her. I think she can't hit a home run with critics every time. I think it actually
Mhm.
strengthens the fan base to have them like these critics don't get it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I like Tortured Poets Department. I think it's I think it's interesting how people are like criticizing her for working with Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff again. I'm curious to see how she responds to that if she keeps working with them.
Mhm.
But I'm also excited for her to get back on tour, and
Yeah. I wanna see the new part.
I'm so anxious about it. I'm excited.
Yeah. I told Joe, my husband, I was like, I know I've seen the Eras tour, but there's a new set, so I'm gonna have to go again. I was like, "Will you
Yeah.
find tickets?" And he was like, "No." He was like "You find tickets." And I was like, "I know exactly where to find tickets. They're
Did he
not in
not?
the
He didn't
budget."
even think about it. He was just like,
No.
no.
No. But he would say no even if it's yes, because he likes to pick on me.
Yeah. Well, just maybe he wants to go to New Orleans or Miami, and you can be like, let's do a weekend in
What's
Miami.
funny is it's like his birthday weekend when she's in New Orleans, and I'm like, "Do you wanna go to New Orleans for your birthday?" Like, minor detail, we're going to the Eras tour.
Think just you said he loved the Reputation tour, so I think he would actually love it if
He
you
didn't.
he didn't.
He was there. He was there.
Okay. Well, that's something.
Yeah. I think he was one and done.
Okay. Um maybe tell him for his birthday I'll go to the Eras tour in his place.
That's a gift. That's a gift.
Yeah. Um, do you have any predictions, or what do you think's the new set's gonna be? What do you think the songs are from
I
Tortured
don't
Poet?
I don't know. I've kind of dropped it already. Well, like I especially this time of year, I like happy upbeat music. I'll probably bring this back like fall winter and
Yeah.
listen to it all again. Like I listened to it and I liked it. Um but it's not what I want right now. Like I needed sound so bad. I pulled up like an emo 2000s playlist and I was like, "Good, this is it. This is what I needed. I need drums and sound and loud noises." And
Yeah.
that's not what the Tortured Poets department gave us.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yep.
I heard, maybe I sent this to you, that I'm gonna Get You Back is likely one of the songs she's doing on tour.
You think so?
Just because she's wearing the lavender skirt
Okay.
in the
Yeah, that
rehearsal video.
she's worn it a couple times. It was also in that shorts, the
Okay.
YouTube shorts where she's like smacking a tennis racket. She's got that
Yeah.
lilac skirt on.
Okay. I think that's a weird choice personally, but she knows better than me. So
I think it's an excellent choice. I feel like it's this album's vigilante shit. Like hot sexy.
Ugh.
Just accept it.
It's not doing it for me. It's
It worked for me. I liked it.
all right. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. May 9th, Paris.
See you
We're
there.
not going to be there, but we'll see you.
See you there on Instagram.
All right, everybody. We're your bitch pack friends.
Bye.
Bye.